I grew up with a mom who was mentally abusive and neglectful. For too many years, I carried a lot of baggage because of that confusing relationship. I blamed my mental state and some of my bad decisions on her. I kept rehearsing old wounds, replaying hurtful memories, and feeding bitterness. It became a heavy bag of poisonous thoughts with a long chain shackled to my mind. But one day, I realized that the baggage I was carrying wasn't helping me. It was harming me. I was tired of carrying it. And no one had actually asked me to carry it. It was self-assigned. It wasn't useful, and it was keeping me from healthy relationships, from making decisions based on the present instead of the past. With God's help, I learned to slowly pry my hands off the thoughts in the continuous loop of blame and victimhood. It was self-absorbing. Being a victim can feel like a powerful identity because it makes us feel morally superior or justified. But it goes against God's command to love our neighbors as ourselves. I was doing the opposite, and in doing so, I was only hurting myself more. That's why I love Paul's words in Philippians 3:13, where he says he is forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. In Greek, the word for forgetting means to no longer care for, to stop watering the garden of blame, to stop tending the weeds of resentment, to leave the past behind. And how do we do that? Paul explains it just one chapter later. In Philippians 4:6-7, he says that through prayer and thanksgiving, the peace of God will guard our hearts and minds. Then in verse 8, he tells us to focus on what is true, pure, lovely, and praiseworthy. And that is the shift of focus that leads to peace. Corrie ten Boom captured this beautifully. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks the door of resentment and the handcuffs of hatred. It is a power that breaks the chains of bitterness and the shackles of selfishness. Bitterness never protects us, it only imprisons us. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past or pretend the pain wasn't real. It simply releases the right to keep reliving it. It loosens the chains that we've carried for far too long. Paul reminds us that forgetting what is behind means to stop caring for it, to stop picking up the same heavy bag day after day. And he shows us through prayer, thanksgiving, and fixing our minds on what is true and lovely. When we do this, God's peace begins to guard our hearts. You can't change your past, but you can choose what you carry into your future. Let God's word determine what you put in your suitcase.
For more inspiration, visit lifestreams.org.